So Elon Musk reported South Africa to Donald Trump.
What?
Only recently, Trump signed an executive order suspending U.S. foreign development aid for 90 days. And now he has fully suspended U.S. aid to South Africa, citing concerns over land expropriation and treatment of certain groups. But wait, wasn't there a scandal in the 70s with Trump and the U.S. Department of Justice due to a violation of the Fair Housing Act? But I digress. You see why history is so important? On this day, February 5, 1955, over 60,000 Black South Africans were thrown out of their homes in Johannesburg under a law called the Group Areas Act. Let's go to Timbuktu. Yes. Once upon an African time, the Dutch arrived in South Africa with belief that whatever they saw they could own. The people who had lived there for centuries were forced off their own land. By 1913, it was official. The Natives Land Act was passed that Black South Africans could only own 7% of the land. By the time apartheid fell in 1994, nearly 90% of the land was still in the hands of white South Africans, who made up less than 10% of the population. The new government under Nelson Mandela promised land reform to return stolen land, but decades passed and very little changed. Cyril Ramaphosa has signed a new law, a law that allows the government to take back land without paying compensation. Elon Musk, a billionaire born in South Africa, has criticized the law, calling it openly racist. Oh boy. Some argue that if a land is taken from white farmers, it could cause economic collapse, just as it did in Zimbabwe in the early 2000s. And some are saying history is history and people should move on. But can you move on from something that still exists? The land is still there. The inequalities are still there. The consequences of apartheid are still visible in every township, every poor village, every wealthy estate. If history does not matter, why does the land still belong to the same families who took it generations ago? And if compensation must be given for the land being taken today, then should there not also be compensation for the land that was taken yesterday? This is not just about South Africa. This is about who controls Africa's wealth. I want to say to African leaders, you don't have to keep cowering to threats from foreign powers. How is it that a continent so rich in land, minerals, oil, even human talent still gets threatened with aid? How is it that Africa, the wealthiest continent in resources, remains the poorest in power? When will African governments stop managing poverty and start building prosperity? When will you stop begging for what you already own? Until Africa stands on its own feet, it will always be treated like a child at the world's table, waiting for permission to eat. But Africa is not a child. Africa is the table, and it is time for its leaders to start acting like it. But what do you think? Please vote and share your thoughts below. For more, turn on post notifications now and follow at the Gloria Ayo on all social media platforms.